Hello and welcome back. I'm hoping this mic works because it's very windy here. I am in Arbour Hill Cemetery, located in Dublin. Behind me here is Arbour Hill Prison, and thankfully I'm on the right side of those walls. So you might be wondering what I'm doing in a cemetery, because I seem to pop up every now and then in a few of them. But this one is pretty important. It marks the final resting place of the 1916 rising leaders. It's just over here. So the rising leaders, after they were executed in Kilmainham jail, which most people know about, they were brought here and buried, which is not very well known. I discovered it a couple of years ago when I did ask the question of where are the rising leaders buried, because at the time I assumed they were buried within the Kilmainham prison walls, which is not the case. General Maxwell had ordered the soldiers to dig a large pit during the 1916 rising, supposedly for up to 100 bodies. And once the rising was over and he knew he was going ahead with the executions, he ordered that the pit be lined with lime in order to kind of destroy the bodies. He didn't want there to be a place of pilgrimage for Irish Republicans, which he was obviously another thing he was wrong about from the 1916 rising. So once the leaders were executed, their bodies were loaded into an ambulance and they were driven. It's only about a 10-minute drive, it's about a 20-minute walk. So they were brought here, put into the pit, covered in lime. Now, there was supposedly a priest here who could give them the last rites, or at least oversee the burial, but no family were present, no supporters of course, and all that were here were police and military personnel. So 14 of the rising leaders are buried here, and they were buried without coffins, without main markers, and covered in lime. Thankfully since then there has been some attempt to commemorate the final resting place. So what is here is, and this is something else I don't see very often, it's a plaque which mentions the names of other volunteers and men and women who died during the 1916 rising. So it's in Irish. That's just here behind me. Look a bit closer. You'll see quite a few names. Then if we walk over to the main area where the pit was, which is now a granite commemoration. Oh yeah. So now here you'll see the names of the 1916 rising leaders. So it's English here on this side, and then over the other side it's marked in Irish. So yeah, the bodies were unceremoniously, we'll say, buried and covered in quicklime. Now this back wall has the 1916 proclamation. So this side it's Irish, and over here it's in English. And the tricolour, which I have to say is always flown here, which is nice. There is Chapel of Arbour Hill Cemetery. Now it's well known that Maxwell, executing the leaders, turned the opinion of the Irish population against the rebels, who initially the population were actually not very receptive to what happened in Dublin. But executing the leaders, and then on top of that not giving them proper burial, was another thing that added fuel to the fire. So he wasn't a very good leader when it comes to making decisions. But here you'll see this is an information. And like leaders of 1916 Rising. Small bit of information here and across here. So it was once the courtyard for the prison, but that has since changed. So there you are, Arbour Hill Cemetery. If you ever want to take a visit, you just put it into Google. 10 minutes from, about a 10-minute drive from Kilmainham Gaol, or Jail, sorry. And yeah, interesting place.